As far as it goes for Stephen A. Smith, the guy's a flat-out clown, and you can't change my mind. I can't even believe this is true. I can't even believe he said this, but he did. I don't want to scream. I don't want to yell. I don't want to go on a rant, but this pisses me off. I couldn't believe this when I first saw it. I couldn't. I thought it was a joke, but come to find out, it wasn't a joke. And oh yeah, before we go any farther, I forgot to say, hope all you had a great 4th of July. And you want to know something? You know what I found so ironic? All these people, and especially these girls out here that are saying, oh, our country's the worst, our country's terrible, I hate America. They were shooting fireworks. Oh yeah, that's ironic, isn't it? That don't make sense to me, but whatever. I guess I'll let it slide. I'm not going to say it hits a nerve in me, but I just find it really funny that all these people that claim America's bad, they celebrate the 4th. Look, man, you can't have it both ways. If you don't like America, you can't celebrate the 4th. It's facts. But anyways, that's besides the point. And by the way, we're not doing no intro, none of that. We're getting straight into things. I don't got time to waste. You don't got time to waste. So if you've been keeping up with the channel, watching some of the previous videos, you would know that we've been talking about the ESPN situation. If you haven't seen those videos, feel free to check it out. But to make an extremely long story short, they laid off like 40 to 50 something people, analysts, commentators, and stuff like that. And what was really mind-blowing about this and why it was such a big deal is because it wasn't like they was laying off nobodies behind the scenes. They was naming off some big-time people like David Pollack, Todd McShay. Who else did they lay off? Hold on, let me pull up the list. Okay, yeah, I got to pull it right here. Jalen Rose, and this one, I thought this guy was great at his job, but that might have been his downfall because he was too honest, and ESPN didn't like that. Jeff Van Gundy. He was always calling out the NBA refs and saying the players were soft, and I guess Disney didn't like that. Oh yeah, another big one, Max Kellerman. How do you lay him off? Steve Young, Ashley Brewer, the new analyst. I thought she was good at her job as well, and just some other people you see right here. And when we were talking about that situation, the top comment on those 2 videos was, oh my gosh, how does Malika Andrews still have a job? For example, this person right here said, and we already talked about this, all I know is that I want Malika Andrews gone right this instant. And I actually talked about that in the video after because I was like, wait, why is everyone so mad at Malika Andrews and why does everyone want her gone? And the reason I know nothing about Malika Andrews or anything she's done is because I stopped watching ESPN several years ago. But according to you guys, I'll pop up a comment or 2 right here. They just said she's pretty much terrible at her job and she's always bringing up terrible things when she shouldn't. But my point is, she kept her job, and also Kendrick Perkins, probably the worst guy I've ever seen on ESPN, kept his job. I can't even believe this is true. I can't even believe he said this, but he did. So very recently, Stephen A. Smith had the balls to say this. And by the way, this is addressing the ESPN layoffs. Quote unquote, this ain't the end. More is coming. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I could be next. Let me tell you all something. Don't ever, ever, ever in your life as a black person take anything for granted. I told you before, when white folks catch a cold, black folks catch pneumonia. That's right. He said that. I can't even believe it. I thought it was one of them troll Twitter accounts, but no, he said that. Let me know your first thoughts on this down below if this is your first time seeing it, but I'm going to give you my first thoughts. When I first read this, my immediate reaction was, where does being black have anything? What does that have to do with anything? Yet again, it proves my point. What have we talked about in the last 2 ESPN videos? The reason they're heading downhill is because they bring up race in everything. They bring up race, politics. The point is they don't talk about sports anymore. ESPN 10 years ago, it was awesome because they talked about sports. But now, no. It's 30-minute shows where you have commercials for 15 minutes. They talk about politics and world problems for the other 10 to 15 minutes. And they talk about sports for 3 minutes. I don't want to scream. I don't want to yell. I don't want to go on a rant, but this pisses me off. You bring up race in something that doesn't even apply. And what makes all this worse, I don't know anything about ESPN, but the only reason I know this is because Stephen A. Smith brags about it so much. He is one of the highest paid people that works for ESPN. Isn't it reported that this guy's making like $12-13 million per year? And I always see these video clips of him going, oh yeah, well, I'm worth every single penny. I bring money. I make money for ESPN. Like, dude, shut up. That's cool if you want to brag about you getting $15 million, $12 million a year because you're ESPN's best analyst, commentator, whatever. I don't care. But my problem is they're paying you the most money, right? How are they racist? He could have ended this quote off with this and we wouldn't even making this video. This is all he needed to say. This ain't the end. More's coming. I could be next. And leave it there. Even if you feel this way, Stephen Smith, which you shouldn't, but even if you do, why say it? And dang, man, not that it even matters because it doesn't, but I'm pretty sure they fired more white people than black people. Let's just pull up the graphic yet again. Yeah, I mean, on this graphic, there's only about 3 black people. The rest of the people on this graphic, outside of a couple, are white. And that's not even the point. I don't care if ESPN, and I want y'all to think about this, ESPN could have laid off 100 white people and you would have never heard me or anybody else saying, oh yeah, ESPN's racist. No, it is what it is. It's just so stupid to bring up race in everything. And Stephen A. Smith has proved my point perfectly with ESPN. I'm going to be honest with y'all. If you still watch ESPN, I don't know what you're doing with your life. It's terrible information. They don't even talk about sports. And when they talk about sports, half of them don't even know what they're talking about. If you want some good entertainment and informational content, YouTubers are way better to watch. And I'm not even talking about myself, so I don't even try to act like I am. No, I'm talking about other YouTubers. Anytime I want to find out some information, or if I just want entertainment on a certain team or player, you can find a YouTube channel where that said YouTuber, his entire channel is dedicated to one team. And all that person is going to do is talk about sports and talk about his team. That's it. No politics, no nothing but sports. And that's what people want to see. But Disney, for some reason, which by the way is ESPN because they own ESPN, they have some false perspective and narrative going around where they think people tune into ESPN for politics and just all this other BS. No, when I get off of work after a long day of work, I don't want to turn to ESPN to hear politics or anything. And I don't watch ESPN, but when I tuned into ESPN several years ago, I wanted to hear sports. It's my escape from reality. But now it's just pitiful. But let's get back on track here at Stephen A. Smith, because I have a bone to pick. It just, this comment says right here, sorry. All right, ESPN is laying off hundreds of people, but they only would fire Stephen because he's black. Man, I'm glad other people see this the same way I do. It's ridiculous and it's ludicrous. But let me pick this bone with Stephen A. Smith because I need to say this and it needs to be said. There's a motivational speaker I've been listening to on YouTube for the past 7 years. I found him like 7 years ago before he blew up, and he blew up, which is rightfully so. And I've still been listening to him ever since. He goes by the name of E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, but I just call him Eric Thomas. I'm sure at least a few of you have heard of Eric Thomas. In my humble opinion, he is the number one motivational speaker in the world, and it's not even close. He's very big on God. He's very big for purpose, perspective, striving for greatness, everything I'm about. I love this guy, and if you are down and you need a 10-minute video of motivation, and I'm talking about a 10-minute video from this guy could change your life, check out his YouTube channel. That's all I'm going to say. His work speaks for himself. But the reason I bring him up is because it was about 3 years ago. He was doing a podcast with 4 of his other buddies. And by the way, they're all black. These are all black guys. Eric Thomas is a black guy, just to clarify that, since we are talking about race, I guess. And he was reading off comments or something, and somebody was like, yo, Eric Thomas, don't you think black people are at a disadvantage? We're oppressed and blah, 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 just something like that. And what Eric Thomas said back, I'll never forget. Eric Thomas said, no, there's no way I believe I'm oppressed or I'm at a disadvantage as a white man, and I'll explain why. Eric Thomas said, I was homeless, I ate out of trash cans, and now I'm a multi-millionaire just off of talking. There's no way I'm going to tell myself or even tell other black people out there they're at a disadvantage, because I don't believe that. And the other thing he said was everybody in that room, they're all black people. And he's like, hey, we're all millionaires and we never gave ourselves the excuse, oh, we're at a disadvantage. And look, we're millionaires. He stated there's no way I think a white man has a better opportunity than me because I'm the number one motivational speaker in the world. Eric Thomas said, as a black man, if you want something, you can do it. You can achieve it. It don't matter if you're black, white, it don't matter. And the reason I'm quoting him is because if I said that stuff myself, people would come at me, but I'm just telling you what he said. And I agree with him. I really do. Maybe that's just because I like everything he says. I don't know. And I hope that doesn't offend people. But if it does, I don't know what to tell you. That's what I believe on. I'm going to stand 10 toes down. It's a double standard, man. White people are the new minority when it comes to talking on situations like this. It really is. So that's why even making this video, I gotta be careful. Getting back on track here at Stephen A. Smith, let's say he does believe this, because obviously he probably does. Why would you even say this and tell the younger generation that? The black kids, the black people that look up to you. You're telling all these people, oh yeah, man, you're gonna be at a disadvantage your entire life. Why would you do that? That's like a professional baseball player telling kids, oh, you'll never have a shot at the MLB. Why? Why even say it? Why do it? I don't understand it. And here's the last quote I'm going to say from Eric Thomas, because he stated this also in that podcast. As a black male, you're at a disadvantage, then you are. But it's the same thing going into a sports game where if you think you're going to win, you are. And if you think you're going to lose, you are. Yet again, before you try to run in the comment section and attack me, I didn't say that. Eric Thomas said that. Do what you want with that information. I don't have an opinion on it because I'm a white man. I've never lived a day black, so I couldn't tell you if I was at a disadvantage. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, and I want to get this message across, because a large majority of our community are black people. And everybody knows this. Our community, it's very strong. It feels like a family. It really does, at least to me. And here's my message that I want to say. Everybody out there, part of our community, I don't care if you're white, black, purple, blue. I don't care what color you are. I don't want you walking through this life thinking you're at a disadvantage. Even if you probably are at a disadvantage, I don't want you to think that. I want you walking through life like you're going to dominate every single day. Take advantage of every single opportunity, every single one. To me, that's what Stephen A. Smith should have said. He shouldn't have brought race into it. He should have just said, you know what, I could be next, but this is why, to all my younger people out here, you need to work hard every single day and take advantage of opportunities. Here's the last thing I'm going to say. My friend, by the way, I got to keep saying this to give you context. He's black. I grew up with him since we were like 5, 6 years old. We played baseball and basketball together up until 6 years old until 18. We were recently talking on the phone, and when he graduated college, he got a job offer for $220,000 starting out. $220,000 a year as a 22-year-old. It's amazing, but here's the reason I'm bringing this story up. Because before I sat down and do this video, I called him. Because when we were talking a while back, he was telling me they narrowed it down to him and some other dude that was competing for the job. It was down to 2 people. I called him about an hour ago and I said, hey, do you know if that guy was black or white competing with you? And guess what? The other dude he beat out was white. I don't know if black people have it harder than white people because yet again, I'm a white male. I can't have an opinion on that because I've never lived black. But here's what I can tell you, and I firmly believe this. If you believe you're at a disadvantage in this life, you are. I'll give you an example. I'll use myself. I'd say I'm an average looking dude. I'm like a 5, 6 out of 10. And I talk to girls that are 9 out of 10s and even some 10 out of 10s on occasions. And even with me having some self-awareness knowing that I don't look like Zac Efron and I'm not the best looking dude out there, I don't put that into my mind. I talk to every single girl like they'd be lucky to have me. I don't care if I'm going to play LeBron James in the backyard in a game to 11. Am I at a disadvantage? Yeah, but I'm not going to think that throughout the game. I'm going to try my best to win. I could go on and on. You get the point. In life, we're all at disadvantages in certain things. As far as it goes for Stephen A. Smith, the guy's a flat-out clown, and you can't change my mind. If he just talked about sports, he'd probably be pretty good at his job, but considering he doesn't, no, he's terrible. That's all I got to say. Let me know your thoughts down below about that.